Help! Take over my house payments. Discover Trust Conveyance. It's on the MLS. The legal way, the way to set up legal takeover payments transaction. Hi, I'm Kevin Scott, real estate investor, former California licensed agent for 18 years, and I want to talk to you today about takeover payments. Attention listing agent, attention homeowners selling your home. Is your listing or property stuck on the market? Is your seller getting anxious? Agent, are you also getting anxious and frustrated, about your listing? Are you serious about solving that problem? Here's an excellent solution, the Trust Conveyance. The Trust Conveyance is on the MLS under the category called Listing Terms and Buyer Financing. Trust Conveyance means a trust transfer. To convey is to transfer. The Trust Conveyance means a trust transfer. Trust Conveyance is also a legal way to take over payments. It really is. It works in two very basic steps. There's a lot more to it than this, but here's the main idea so that you can see what it is. Here's the main idea. Number one, seller names tenant a co-beneficiary in seller's trust. And number two, seller makes tenant responsible by lease to pay all the seller's home expenses. Tenant pays mortgage, taxes, insurance, maintenance, repairs, upkeep, everything, and it's going to be spelled out in their lease. Tenant treats the home like they own it. They treat it just like an owner. As a matter of fact, this tenant wants to buy the house. When you go get a tenant, as a matter of fact, that you're going to put on the MLS, or you can make an advertisement, help take over my payments. You can put in an amount of money that they need to move in, and by the time you get everything going, by the time you do the paperwork, this is exactly how we're going to do it. Tenant also benefits like an owner. See, the co-beneficiary status that the seller is going to give the tenant, the co-beneficiary status is very, very powerful. IRS tax codes treat co-beneficiaries who are responsible to pay everything in writing. They treat those people as owners. That's the IRS tax code. The tenant is not on title. The trust is held in a trust by the trustee company. This is not a lease option. This is not a lease purchase. My friends with the lease option that you're probably familiar with, there are no benefits that tenants get, no home ownership benefits from a lease option. As a matter of fact, the lease option violates the due on sale clause. This is not a lease purchase, a lease with a purchase agreement, which also violates the due on sale clause, and also the tenants do not receive any official IRS standing, no official benefits in those two types of scenarios. I know they're common, but that's not what you want to do. Plus also, when you do a lease option and a lease purchase, the tenant, you are unwittingly, not even realizing, but you're giving a tenant an equitable interest in the property, which means that when they get ready to, let's say they default on their payments, it's going to be very hard to put them out. You're going to have to use a foreclosure process to put them out. And that's what happens when you have a lease option and a lease purchase. And those are absolutely true, but not with when you lease a trust property, not when you have a trust conveyance. You're not going to have that kind of situation because the title of the property is going to be in the hands of the trustee who has legal and equitable title, not the seller, not the tenant, but it's going to be held in a trust, and the trust title is going to be very, very protected. And putting out a default tenant is just a simple eviction process. We're going to go over more of that in the class I'm going to talk to you about a little bit later. Both of those, as I just said, violate lender's due on sale clause and gives tenant no ownership benefits at all, no tax write-offs at all. This is more like what we're doing here is lease a trust property, as I just said. This is more like assume the home. There's a tax principle called assume the benefits and burdens of ownership. That's what it's called. There's a rule that IRS goes by, United States Tax Court goes by, called assume the benefits and burdens of ownership. I'm not making this stuff up. Our contracts have already been to court, already been in the United States Tax Court. We've already helped our own tenant buyers win their tax benefits in federal court. I mean, this is really just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. This is not assumable loans. Nope, nothing is done with the mortgage at all. This is assume the benefits, assume the burdens, the bills, the responsibilities of ownership. Our own contracts, that I've just said, have already won in the United States tax court around this issue. This is already a settled matter, my friend. This is not theory. It's absolutely true. As a matter of fact, our case you can find on the United States tax court website. We go over that in my class a little bit later. One of our current tenant buyers at first was denied tax write-offs. I was just telling you about that story. Tenant appealed to the United States tax court. Tenant in this case had no attorney. You know, the tenant buyer in our particular case went on appeal to the United States tax court, and they went in with no attorney. He only had his documentation, which was our contracts. The IRS sent 2 United States attorneys to defend the IRS. So it's one homeowner who's not an attorney, who did not have an attorney, is into the federal United States tax court with only his documentation, only our contracts, and he's facing 2 IRS United States attorneys defending his position. Federal judge heard the case. Federal judge sided with the tenant and declared that the tenant successfully assumed the benefits and burdens of ownership. The federal judge reversed the IRS and allowed the tax write-offs and waived the penalties and interest, and a complete victory. This was a complete victory for the tenant. Complete victories against the IRS, they happen, but they do not happen often. Scams, they absolutely do not win in federal court. Everything we do is very it's already well documented in statute, well documented in law. It's not a scam. Just because sometimes we never hear of something, maybe you've never heard of legally being able to take over payments. Maybe you've never had the trust to conveyance explained to you. It's right there on the MLS, right under the listing terms. There's like a list of 27, 28, 29, almost 30 different things you can do. Most of the real estate agents, and again, I was an agent for 18 years. What do we do when we put up a listing? We click off cash, we click off submit, we click off cash to loan. I mean, there's a lot of things we check there. But trust conveyance, you probably don't know what it is, and it has nothing to do with probate. The United States Tax Court only hears tax cases. These are the experts. There's more. I hear from attorneys that the U.S. Tax Court, this is the court with the most tax expertise, in America, because they only hear tax cases. This court has the most tax expertise of any court in America. Scams don't win in this court. Only legally valid cases with valid documents win. Our contracts are quoted in the judge's written opinion, and the facts won the case. So it was our judges, it was our contracts. Within the written decision itself, the judge quotes the reasons why, the specific reasons why, and the unique reasons why the tenant won their tax benefits in this particular case. Also, it's a tax code, tax case memorandum. It's a tax case memo, which means that the case that we have won, it's citable and citable by others and in use for others. We know trust conveyance. We know how to do that. We've been doing trust conveyances. I say we because I'm a member of a national real estate group, and as a member, I'm saying we. It's actually their group, but I'm a member of the group, and all of us corporately say we. And they started business in 1984. They started doing these particular transactions in around 1991. The basis for being able to do this, and the reason why there's no due on sale violation, is because of going back in history. The Garn-St. Germain Act of Congress signed by President Reagan back in 1982, which is still in effect today. And within the due on sale, everybody hears about the due on sale clause. Oh, the bank can take your loan if you transfer title. Oh, that you're going to lose your house. Well, you know what? That's generally the principle. However, there are exceptions that were panned out right there in the due on sale clause. As a matter of fact, we go over those in class, and also you might be remember those from real estate principles class or real estate finance class or something like that. The exceptions to the due on sale clause, and there's a list of them. And what we do is we take advantage of a couple of the legal exceptions already built into the statute. And so it's something anybody can do. We may not talk about it a lot in real estate, but when you have a stuck listing on the market and the house is vacant and the seller is up there making payments on 2 or more properties, well, there comes a time where you have to do something to help. I mean, that's why we take listings, to go help. It's our fiduciary duty to go help. And the most help we can give is if we can get somebody in there who wants to buy the home, who actually will be happy for the opportunity to make all the payments, pay the mortgage, the principal, the interest, the taxes, insurance, the maintenance, repair, the upkeep, pay everything, and benefit as if they own it. And so it's not hard to set up. We have all the paperwork to do that. We need training for that. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but doing the legal takeover payments is an excellent solution to help the seller get rid of their payments. The tenant will pay until the contract term is over. By then, tenant will hopefully have everything in order so that they can buy the property, get their own mortgage at that time. It happens that people are able to do that. Sometimes they change their mind. Stuff happens in between. But in the meantime, in the interim, the seller has an opportunity to get rid of their payments. These are the individuals who come with significant money to the table that goes into a trust account. As a matter of fact, there are people who put in anything from 10% of the property value, maybe sometimes even more. For a lot of people, it's better than the 20% that the lenders are looking for on a conventional loan. It's a little bit cheaper for people to get in, still get the benefits, still get their file ready, and get it together so they can eventually get a mortgage loan. It's just a wonderful situation, an excellent solution, if you're serious about getting a solution for your stuck listing on the market, I should say. If tenant doesn't want to buy in the end, that's okay too, because it's spelled out different things we can do ahead of time, different alternatives people have at the end of the contract term. There are provisions to handle that according to what the parties agree to in writing. Sometimes the time period is extended at the end of the lease term, at the end of the trust agreement. Sometimes the trustee is instructed to sell the property on the market. Sometimes the home is simply given back to the seller. It just depends. Again, this is a legal, totally legal, 100% legal takeover payments, takeover house payment situation. There is no due on sale violation because federal statute allows leasing and federal statute allows placing a home into your own trust. There's a lot more details to this transaction, a lot more going on with it. The main point is that you don't have to suffer anymore from a home stuck on the market. Agent, no, don't lose your sales commission. It takes a lot to get a listing. Congratulations, superstar agent. I'm looking on the MLS. I have access to the MLS. Take a look at it through some of my people I do some work with. And, there's a lot of homes on the market, especially higher end homes that are vacant, that are available for sale, available for lease. Either way, that's an indication to me, based upon my experience, that the seller is serious about getting somebody in there as fast as possible. An agent, you have a duty, and you actually can help them a little bit more than you think. And once you put an ad out there that says, hey, take over my payments, or if you're a homeowner and you say, hey, take over my payments, the market is full of people who want to do exactly that have money, that are just waiting, biding their time until they can get back, be able to get a mortgage again. Business owners with lots of cash, self-employed people with lots of cash. You'll be surprised. Well, maybe not, because we're in Southern California. We know there's a lot of people who have cash who just need a little bit of time to get their file together to get approved for a mortgage. It's those people. It's other people's money that you're using to make your payments. That's what this is all about. No, you don't have to lose your sales commission. Also, you don't have to lose your sales. Once you rent out the property on a regular rental, that commission for a rental is nowhere near. It's just peanuts compared to a sales commission. The next step to do at this point, my friends, is to get registered this instant for upcoming class I have coming up. Follow the links on this page to register and to pay. I offer training online and live webinars. Normally, the coaching of this particular program is $697. I do today's special is $397, so that you can find out exactly what you need to do to get your listing moved, to get somebody in the property. The company that I work with that really has been the originator of a lot of this stuff, they will actually help you do your paperwork, and they'll do it for you. Those fees are different. Those fees are separate. I'm talking about specific coaching here from myself, live webinars from myself. I'm going to try to have some guest speakers with me also. People who have been successful in these transactions. I work very closely with the owner of this investment company, of this national investment company, and I think I'm going to be able to have some surprise guests and even have the owner come on the webinar and the training and the coaching that I have lined up for you. It's going to be wonderful, and it's ongoing. There's a page that has the links that has more information about that there. Normally it's $697. Today's special $397. I only have a few seats for that. $397. Years ago, during the hot market, membership in this group was $8,000. And so fundamentally, I'm able we're able to work it out. We're trying to get more real estate professionals back into our community, and I'm able to offer this at a special price, but only for just a few limited seats. Today is $397. For agents, $397 is peanuts compared to the full broker fees, that you're going to gain immediately, because you're able to get a sales commission from this because you're providing tenant with the fee simple benefits. The very limited offer, only a few seats at this upcoming seminar, webinar, training. Sign up now to reserve your spot. Normally, like I said, it's $697. Today, it's just $397. Limited availability at the $397 pricing. First come, first serve. Hurry before you lose out. Again, normally this is a lot more. I'm able to do this at a special time at a special rate. There's more information on that page, if you need to sign up. To go sign up. There's more information there. I have a little bit more detail there. Go ahead and go check it out. Seller, the benefits of this, again, like I said, are sellers going to be able to get rid of their payments, their maintenance, their landlord headaches. A lot of the sellers that you're working with, a lot of these owners, they're not real estate investors. They're not trying to be a landlord. They're just kind of stuck with the property. This is a way to pass those responsibilities on to a tenant who's eager, happy, excited about the opportunity to be able to sit in this kind of position. Tenant's going to enjoy home ownership benefits now. Like I said, it's all spelled out by law. A lot of success cases. I had one. I'm reminded right now of a truck driver I had helped. Just had a recent divorce. His credit was in the toilet. Could not get anything, but had some extra money. I had a listing that worked for him. I talked to the owners. I talked to him. We were able to get everything worked out. Here's the funny thing that I just thought about. The funny thing about that particular episode, or that particular tenant I was working with, was that when he got the property, he was so excited. He went to go share the good news, because he was able to get a big enough space for his kids to come. But his ex-wife did not like it, because she said he was a loser. He said he was a loser, and there was no way he was going to be able to get a property. And so what he did was, the wife said the kids were not going to be allowed to go over to the house until her sister checked everything out. And her sister was in the real estate business, or I guess it is in the real estate business. The sister is a title insurance rep. And well, long story short, when I went to go talk to that sister, she told me I was a scam and everything like that. And I was used to that by now, and I just kind of brushed it off. And I asked her, this is a title rep. I said, hey, title rep, do you happen to have with you your marketing flyer, maybe in your car, called Common Ways to Hold Title? And she said she did. She was good enough to go to her car to go get it. And I read to her verbatim exactly how we were going to handle the transaction right off of her own marketing flyer that she had not read and did not know anything about it. And as agents, we get a lot of stuff, from title, from escrow. We get a lot of different things that we just really don't read. And within these things we don't read are opportunities that we don't know exist. And so this is really just a wonderful situation. I can't enforce that enough. Agent and broker get their full sales commission now. Follow the links on this page to register now. I get so excited when I do these webinars. I always plan to do these presentations I make for 1 or 2 minutes or 3 or 4 minutes. They end up going a little bit longer. I hope it's not boring. Well, it's not, because it's an opportunity for you to lend a helping hand to a seller, to a tenant, get paid for it. I mean, that's what we're all about. I'm Kevin Scott, investor, former California licensed agent, 18 years. Here's my phone number if you have any questions. What I need you to go register today. If you are in a situation where you really, really, really need the help, and you really can't, you really don't have the 397, I can empathize with you. You call me, and if you're serious about getting registered today, then I will give you a discount code that you can do, but it's only for a few people that I have. I can do that for, and you have to be serious about getting signed up today. And if you go to the page and you're there on the page, and there's a discount code you can enter, get all the way to the discount code, then call me, and I'll tell you the very special code if you want to do it today. And I'm only doing it for a handful of people. So look around for the links on this page. Let's get your seller out of frustration. Let's get you out of frustration. Let's get somebody in that home paying today, using other people's money to take care of your seller. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless you.